If I would attack another country, I would not shoot a missile into a building. I would just go and hack the system. Nowadays, it's a deep fake video that is created, and you see this kind of video and you see, oh, this is really my CEO. He looks like him.
What are the stats
Billions.
around that?
I think three figure of billions.
A very, very warm and wonderful welcome to Andreas Papadaniil on a spontaneous podcast episode that we decided to do here between the continents. We were already talking about earlier. I saw the beautiful Dubai Marina there in the background. So it's a great, it's a great privilege to be speaking with you today, Andreas, as we are in the full countdown for Counder Conference next year, together with you and your company, SureSecure, as one of our esteemed knowledge partners. So really looking forward for today's conversation. I think unpacking a little bit, your personal entrepreneurial journey, how this all ties in with Counder Conference, obviously, especially cybersecurity as a incredible, exciting topic and theme that we're covering together with you. So really looking forward to this conversation. And I would say, with no further ado, over to you, and if you could quickly introduce yourself and SureSecure in a couple of sentences, what you do, and then we get it going.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me here on this podcast. I really get excited also about the Counder Conference. I'm also preparing for my speech over there. So, as you said, my name is Andreas Papadaniil. I'm one of the two founders of SureSecure and also founder of Securance. So, in total, I have two businesses right now. The one business is dealing with cybersecurity, especially with Security Operations Center. So we have a 24/7 Security Operations Center that is helping our customers to prevent cyber attacks. And on the other hand, we also offer incident response services. So if you get hacked, we help you to recover very fast, to get your business going. And as I said, I have a second company called Securance, which is mainly focusing on cyber insurances, because we see right now in the market there are a lot of companies that want cyber insurance to mitigate the risk of cyber attacks, but the maturity of cybersecurity is, let's say, not on the level it should be. So they have a problem getting an insurance. And that is what we try to solve with SureSecure. So we make them insurable and we offer services to get them there. Then we sell the insurance, and then we make sure also the damages are covered by an insurance. So say it's kind of a one-stop shop for cybersecurity.
Thanks, Andreas. Yeah, super interesting. I can't wait to unpack that a little bit with you in this episode. I think probably a good point to start with is your journey into cybersecurity is rather unique. Can you share a couple of maybe key moments that from an entrepreneurial perspective that shaped your also passion to go into this space? Like, how do you come across the opportunity and then also made the decision to build a company in that space?
Yes. Yeah, it's now some time ago. So we founded the company 8 years before, but my journey into cybersecurity started around 12 years. So I started as a system integrator in Germany, small company, like 10 employees, and they were dealing with VPNs and firewalls, like all of the classical cybersecurity stuff. I made my mind about this cybersecurity thing. It was still early. We didn't have like these kind of big scale attacks we are seeing today. But I was thinking about, if I would attack another country, I would not shoot a missile into a building. I would just go and hack the systems, like an electricity plant or a hospital or whatever, because nobody can find out that it's me. I don't get as much publicity, for example. Also, it's a violation about laws in the end. So I would try to have a military department that is focusing on cyber attacks, and also it need defense. So I was seeing the bigger picture already, and I was thinking, for me as the professional, it would be good for my career to focus on this. And also I was very interested because at first I was looking into classical jobs like becoming a lawyer or a policeman, someone who is like helping society, doing something good. That is always what I wanted to do, also to have purpose in your work. And I found cybersecurity. And Then my company got bought by another company, and on this time I didn't understand anything about A and about the processes behind it. Just one day we had a meeting, and my former boss told me, "Okay, I sold the company now, and we go to a bigger company." I was thinking, "Okay, I don't know what I'm heading to, but I had 10 employee company. Now I'm working for a 100 employee company." So I was thinking, let's give it a try. So fortunately for me, most of the former employees from the 10 employee company left the building after the acquisition. So, and I was like one of the leftovers. So everybody came to me and said, "Andreas, you're the cybersecurity expert. Can you come with us in a meeting, explain the CIO about cybersecurity and what we are doing?" Me, okay, and this time I'm very brave. I just said, "Okay, let's go." I do it. I remember it still till today. My first meeting with a customer, they had like 500 employees in Germany, and I was shaking all over the body, explaining a guy who was like 15 years into cybersecurity or into IT. I had to explain him a complex firewall concept. But after that, my former boss came to me and said, "Andreas, I saw you shaking and you were a little bit of nervous, but all in, it was quite good. He understood and he will sign the contract. So we are completely fine." So this was the day when I understood I have like technical skills, but also I'm able to talk about these complex thing and explain them to other people. So I started this, and for I think around 2 years, I worked in this company, and I kind of built up the cybersecurity department as a one-man army. So I was doing the consulting in the beginning, the so-called pre-sales also. I explained the customer about the concepts, I made the concepts, and then they ordered. And because we didn't have a lot of people in our company who were doing this, in fact, I was alone at this time, they said, "Okay, can you implement the things you did the consulting for?" And again, me like, "Okay, of course, I will do it." So after I sold the things, I implemented the things. And by this time, I didn't have no idea about it, honestly. I didn't have no idea what I was doing, but I'm learning very fast, and I'm a self-learner. So in the nights, I was reading PDFs and manuals and this kind of stuff. I built up a lab. I implemented this security solutions in my lab environment, tested it, and then I went to the customer side and did it. And then I did practice in the field. And then after that, also, if the customer had an issue with the software, I was doing the support. They called me and said, "Andreas, we have an issue over here. Can you help?" It was more and more and more. And that was the time when I found my co-founder, Jonah, because he was a very young guy coming into the company. And he also was always interested in cybersecurity. And so one day he asked me, "Hey, Andreas, I heard you do something with cybersecurity. Can I support you in any way, or can I do this with you?" And I was thinking, "Okay, I have a bunch of work here, and I don't know how to accomplish all of that. Let me see if Jonah can help me." And from the day we were together like brothers. We did everything together. We worked on the projects together. We were like a dream team, and yeah, made the company very successful, the department for cybersecurity. And then it started that the colleagues were talking to us, in a coffee break, and said, "Jonah, Andreas, you do a very good job. Why you're not going to be self-employed? Why you're not building your own company?" And me, I have to say I'm a little bit older. So I was going to marry. I already bought a house, I had a loan to pay. I had my car. I had a good position in the company. I was the number one go-to cybersecurity guy. So it was quite comfortable for me. So I was like, good idea, but let's wait a little bit, perhaps later. Yeah, the later came very fast because this company again got bought by an even bigger company, Cancom. I don't know
Yeah,
right
and I
now, they
mean, you
have multiple
probably you
thousand.
witnessed it. You then witnessed it firsthand, right? Like from first acquisition to
Mhm.
growth to another acquisition, and I think it's probably the perfect learning ground. I think in hindsight, must have been almost like a blessing in disguise, right? To experiment, to grow, and see where mechanics are. I think that's probably has been quite instrumental to that journey, right?
Yes, it was very interesting. And this time, honestly, my mind was not on this level. I was an employee, and for me, it was only they took my world away. Like, I didn't understand about opportunities, about how it's working, the bigger picture. For me, it was just my environment is changing. And then me, I was like, okay, now I go to a bigger company. they have a couple of thousands. And I said, when I go to a bigger company, then I go to a real big company. So I decided to go to PwC, one of the big four.
Mm.
Because for me, in this time, I was thinking like this is the elite of consultancy, and then I go there and learn something. That's when I decided after the acquisition to quit my job, go to PwC. And for Jonah, it was quite good because when the number one is gone, he became number one. So he got a bigger salary, he got a nice car, he was the most important man for cybersecurity. So he said, I stay, I will have a little bit of look at
Okay.
this. And yes, then I was in a project for PwC. But what I understood then is, yeah, I was a technical guy, I was into tech. And then all of a sudden I was working as a consultant for PwC. And most of the time I was doing workshops and I was writing papers. And it was very, you had the partner level, the bosses above you, and it was really old style. What is not bad, but you know how the old style
Mm.
consultancy companies are. And I'm a free mind, I'm working different in my mind. So this was not the right environment for me, very strict. And one day I just went to work and I was thinking about the thing about building your own company because I saw there are consultancy companies like PwC and they're integrators. And often you have the problem that the consultancy companies, they make you a nice concept, but they say, we don't integrate. And then you go to the integrator with your concept, 50 pages, and they say, this is not practical. So if you want to implement this, we have to do changes. And I was thinking like, why is there no cybersecurity company that combines like a good consultancy with integrating? So I wrote a message to Jonah, a WhatsApp message. It was like one sentence, and I said, you still want to build up a company? And the answered yes. He was
I
young. He
love that.
didn't have anything, any ties. It was very, very, very simple. And we
Okay,
didn't
and
know
then and
anything
then
about
you
found.
yeah, and then you got going. I think, which is I think, and I know we have spoken about that before. Is I think one of such crucial I think values and a mindset when building a company is really that execution component, right? And I think so
Hmm.
interesting to see that you've been kind of very deep in the corporate world and saw some things. I
Yes.
think the benefits of it, right? I think personal growth within the career within a corporate to but also then like some kind of frames and guardrails where it's I wouldn't say like difficult or less agile, right, to move. And then but of course
Hmm.
it's a scary thing, right, to then set up your own company, because I know it from my side as well, right, having worked in in very safe environments where everything is taken care of. I remember to
Hmm.
this day you always come up with ideas. I would do this way and I would do that differently and this is what I could do. But then you do it yourself. It's still right. It's a scary thing now having the entire responsibility on you and like I think getting this all implemented. And I think one thing we spoke about that when we saw each other in Cape Town the last time, which I find where we get along so well, I think is the aspect of bootstrapping, right? I mean, you till this day, right? You have
Yes.
bootstrapped the business, and I think that is such a, I think also testament of grit execution. And then when you get it successful, I think this is the situation where you're in now, right? You have a complete different realm of opportunities in your control, right? I think when it comes to shaping the
Hmm.
direction of the company, the opportunities when it comes to talk to potential acquirers, growth strategy, all of that. Can you tell us a little bit about the I think your bootstrapping approach within the business and why you think it's so
Hmm.
vital and how it's helped you and the company to get where you are now?
Yeah, there are always pros and cons, definitely. Bootstrapping means also you have no safety net. You have perhaps also less advisory and a lot of pain to take. But
Hmm.
one of the reasons I founded this company was freedom. I wanted to be free. You see it also in our concept of work. So we do new work. You see me right now in Dubai. All my employees, they can work remote. We have unlimited vacation in our company because I love to travel, and I was thinking like also if I stay at PwC, you will never have the opportunity to travel the world because in Germany we have average 28 days. So freedom was very important to me, and let's say in the end, we did a lot of hard work, and we had also, we have to say, we had luck because the market now grew. It was the right time in the market, and not a lot of competitors when we started because we were one of the only cybersecurity only companies. And also, I think we started in a good target group for the mid-sized company. We didn't start too small. We decided to go with companies like that above 3,000 employees and above 300 million, the German Mittelstand, mid-sized companies.
Yeah.
And in this time, there were not a lot of companies that are doing this, and they were interested in specialized cybersecurity guys. So we won contracts very fast, larger contracts where most of the startups, they would not have access to these companies because they ask for certification, they ask how long are you in the market, they ask you for, you know, for your numbers, for your financials, but they didn't ask anything. They just saw two guys. Later we were 10 who do a good work, and we were growing very, very fast in high numbers.
I find this so interesting, right? And I think this is also why we are so excited to have and talk about this topic at the conferences, right? How at the time, you would have thought like cybersecurity, super regulated, super important, so much at risk and at stake for these companies, and yet there's almost like a startup story from your own garage and lab that can walk into these boardrooms and tell them, well, I can take care of it, and they basically didn't have this theme covered at all internally, or like didn't just find anyone like to do it with. So I find it so mesmerizing almost, right, about the industry, and it's also very interesting. Like there's another big shift coming now, right, in the space, and I don't even know if are we prepared for that. To maybe go a bit into that topic as well. I think many leaders at Counder are really at the forefront of their industries, shaping them. Of course, we know it from us as well. We talk. We have 3 engineers working with us, but it's always like, okay, cybersecurity. Yes, you talk about it, like, but why should this be on top of mind now? What is coming in this space? Can you share a little bit about that? Of course, like as combination of your journey into where you guys are operating at the level that you're at now.
Yes. So the question is about why it's so important to take care of the cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, I was surprised, right, that you had, of course, like it's exciting, but also a bit frightening at the same time, right? Where like, well, people didn't, when you did it, what, like 12 years ago, right? Which is not a long
Yes.
time ago, actually. I would have thought, okay, 12 years ago, okay, that's what 2013, 2015. People should probably have a cybersecurity agenda and plan. And it
Yes.
surprises me, like how a venture story of yours can like shoot up so quickly, and then now with this
Yes.
constant acceleration of technology, AI, etc. I think this space must, like, probably what was 10 years the norm is completely overhauled now. So what is coming? What do we need to expect? I think in this field.
Of course, what we see like is the majority of the attackers, because like 10 years before you had so-called like script kiddies that was just playing around because there were like people they needed attention, so they hacked a computer to show you I can hack your computer, and they felt good about it. Nice. But now we have organized crime, for example. We have like 20 years or even longer. You have Yakuza, you have Cosa Nostra, you have the mafia structures, you have these kind of things, organized crime, and I don't have to educate you about what they're doing, like gambling, prostitution, drugs, etc. So, and now you have these kind of organized crime in the cyberspace. They're not called Yakuza, they're called Conti, they are called Lockbit, they are called whatever. But what they are, they have their criminal structures, and they get more and more and more professional right now. So, for example, they send you an email with an attachment. Still, till today, it's one of the most common techniques to do this. Your users clicking on it, and they're very fast right now in attacking your network. And let's say like 3 or 4 years before, there was a statistic that an attacker is average like 180 days in your environment before you even notice the attack. And they are much, much faster right now. So they enter via an email attachment, and in a couple of days, they're able to encrypt you completely, your whole network, and nothing is working anymore. And these kind of damages, and this is like one of the attacker scenario, to do a ransomware, encrypt you, and then you have to pay for the key. There's another scenario where they just take data, sensitive data out of your company, and then they tell you, okay, we will publish them if you don't pay. And there's also this, they call it like CEO fraud. I send you a WhatsApp message and I say, I'm the CEO of the company. Can you please transfer 500,000 euro to this offshore bank account? And it's working. It's working.
That's crazy. How big are the, are there stats like how big are the damages annually through cyber attacks? Do you know, like, what are the stats around
Billions.
that?
Yes, I think three figure of billions. It's obviously it's the one of the biggest risk according to there's a Allianz insurance barometer where you can see what is the
Yeah.
biggest business risk. And the cyber attacks, it's changing every year between one or two. But cyber attacks are, I think, regularly on the first place nowadays. Because if I want to shut down your company, like I said, I don't shoot a rocket into your factory. I just install a computer virus, encrypt all of the systems, and nothing is working anymore. I was handling like over 20 cases as a crisis manager in companies in Germany. And you can imagine there's a computer virus, there are 5,000 people in the manufacturing site, and all of a sudden they can't work. All of your
Yeah.
communication systems are down. You have to send these people home because they are not allowed to, they're not able to work. Your financial systems are not working, your logistics not working, you're not able to send an invoice, you are not able to do any kind of controlling because all of your computer systems are encrypted. And this kind of large scale attacks that we see today, it was not there 10 years before. They just started. And then on top of that, the regulations are now coming worldwide. We see on every continent in a lot of countries it's starting. For example, as we are based in Germany, if you look at Europe, it's NIS2, a directive from the European Union, which is forcing all of the countries in Germany to invest in cybersecurity measurements.
Interesting.
And that
And
puts
tell
it
me,
on the agenda.
and
Mhm.
puts it on the agenda. But like, how is it now that I think, like certain, like, I mean, your clients or new clients, where are they coming from that at certain sizes, right? We've talked about it before, like also outside this recording, but like, there's large
Mhm.
organizations who undergo a change and kind of, it's like it's not only upgrading, some were just like actually getting started with cybersecurity infrastructure now. Was there like a misconception? Has it not, wasn't it like, I think, more prominent before? Where's this shift coming from? Are there misconceptions around it? Do people say, oh, it doesn't happen to me? Or
Mhm.
where's that risk, I think, in general coming from?
Mhm. There are several points. First of all, as I said, these attacks in this kind we are facing right now, let's say the last 5 to 10 years, they came and at a company, for example, if you have a manufacturing site and you
Hmm.
build it, mostly they're planned for, let's say, 20 years if you build a manufacturing site. So all of the IT and the infrastructure grew over the time and it was not ready for these kind of attacks. And then always like there are new attack techniques and you build up new protection layers. But it takes time to implement them. And then also we have to understand in the past, everybody was focusing on prevention. So I have an antivirus or I have a firewall. If an attacker comes into my system, the antivirus will find the file and say, no, I don't like you. I put you in quarantine or I delete you. You're safe. But now the attack surface is evolving very fast. You don't get a file anymore, for example. Imagine you get a link in your email, and by the time the email is sent to you, there's nothing behind the link. And so your security systems will look at the link and they say, I don't see anything suspicious. 5 minutes later, they will activate the malware behind the link when it was sent successfully to the user. They get a message, it was sent to the user, it's there. We activate the file behind the link, it comes onto your computer, and there are different kind of really sophisticated techniques. And that is changing a lot.
Fascinating.
And then we have to also put our focus not only on preventing, because preventing fails. It always fails. Imagine all of the big attacks that you see in the media, all of them have $1 million budgets. All of them invested in firewalls, antivirus, and still they fail. And that is what you have to understand. No matter how much you invent in preventing, you will fail. And that is why we build up our security operations center services, because you need to detect things when your first line of defense failed. And foremost, you need to react also. You have to imagine a lot of companies in Germany, they are operating globally. They have like 40 production plants all over the world. But the
Yeah.
IT infrastructure is operated by an IT team that is 9 to 5 in Germany. So the problem is the attackers also, they come in the night, they come on the weekend, they come on vacation. And if you're not able, you don't have the visibility, you need to see what the attacker is doing into your environment. And then you have to react fast. You need the experience to understand, okay, I'm under attack right now and have to react on this. And that is also where we need not only human power, but also AI and automation is very important nowadays to handle these kind of
But
things automatically.
it's on both sides then, right? Because I would assume when we look at the future of the industry. So I think if you can tell us a little bit about, where do you see this is growing? I think just volume wise for the market, because I would assume through AI now, anyone can, I think the mass
Yes.
scaling and distribution of this is super scary, right? They like where it might have been, maybe they've been writing scripts and stuff in the past, but I think the sheer volume of attack that can now just happen at all times at volumes that we never even anticipated before, obviously probably can be met again on the protecting
Yeah.
side with AI as well. But I think, yeah, tell us a little bit about where's the industry going, what is coming with AI in that space, and yeah, how do you look at the
Mhm.
market as an expert?
Yes. So AI will have a huge impact as well as on the attacking side, also on the defending side. I told you, for example, about the CEO fraud. Perhaps like 2 years before, it was a WhatsApp message, a text message from the CEO who wants you to transfer money. Nowadays, it's a deep fake video that is created, and you see this kind of video and you see, okay, this is really my CEO. He looks like him, and he even talks like him because you can give the AI information about how he is speaking and even the accent he's taking, and you can copy it and imitate it exactly like it is. The other thing they can make use of is information gathering. Because when you want to research about a person in the past, you had to go to Google, for example, a search engine, and then you search and you click on all of the pages and you click all the links and gather all the information, and it takes you a lot of time. You go to the social media to find out what's happening. What do you do today? You pick your phone, you push on this microphone thing in ChatGPT and say, give me please every kind of information you find about Andreas Papadaniil. Make me an executive summary. And it's very, very easy for me. And I can even find the dirty little things that are hidden on page 10 or somewhere. And you can even ask ChatGPT and say, give me the dirty little things about this person, for example. So the information gathering process becomes much more faster. And one of the most terrifying things I was thinking about also the last day, and we spoke about it in our podcast, is you get an AI agent attacker in your environment. Because right now, an attacker, he comes into your environment, he takes a user account. He can take your user account, for example, and he starts to do a mess in your environment. He does things he's not allowed to. And then you find him and you see, oh, he's not working for me. It's not my employee. I will shut him out of the systems. Now imagine you have an AI agent who's, for example, also in your communication tools included. So he has access to Teams. A lot of companies use
Yeah.
Teams. And now imagine you have an AI hacker in your company and you can really write him on Teams and ask him, hey, who are you? You're working for me or not? And even he can text you back and try to stay under the radar. You can call the AI agent and he will answer you, and everything is really easy to program, and it can easily adapt to your behavior automatically, and you get a whole
But how do you
different
prevent
kind
this
of
then?
attack right now.
How do we prevent this?
I don't know.
What are the me
There will
like?
always be things, there's always a way to detect something, but first it has to happen. So you get an understanding, and then the
Yeah.
first kind of attack will be successful, and they will think, oh, this happened really? And then you will find detection for it. And this is on the other hand where AI comes into play, because in the past we needed like engineers to write playbooks. So let's say a more common use case, you log in into your system at 8 from Cape Town, and from 9 o'clock there's a login from Berlin in Germany. So now you understand, as a human being, this, it can't be like this, because in 1 hour you will never travel from Cape Town to Berlin. So you have to write a playbook. Then you have to say, if someone is logging in from somewhere at this time and a little bit later is logging in from there, and it doesn't match with the travel time, and then you have to program all of these things. You have to write the detection. You need to be a detection engineer. And it takes you like 1 day to write this detection. You have to test it, you have to roll out. And all of that now with AI, you don't need it anymore, the knowledge of this. Because you just go as a defender to your AI tool and tell them, I need a detection because someone logged in 1 hour from 2 places and this could never be real. And the AI will take all of this programming for you. And it will do it not in 1 day, it will do it in a couple of seconds. So you can do these kind of detections a lot more faster, for example. So
Do you think that,
it
I
helps us
mean,
on
as
this
we know it,
side.
everybody probably knows, FA, etc. But do you think that like the element of
Mhm.
human verification and authentication and verification is going to become even more important? We'll just have to verify much more. Okay, this is an actual human doing, or like, do you think the companies will integrate this more? But on the other hand, it's also like not the nicest thing in terms of user interaction, right? If I now have to verify everything, how do you look at that from an industry perspective?
Yeah, definitely. Also, as I said, where I have a cyber insurance company, and you won't get in cyber insurance if you don't have a multi-factor authentication. And there are different kind of multi-factor. You can lose something biometrically, like your fingerprint, like your eye, or like a OTP, what is most common. You have a one-time password that is sent to your phone. But these kind of things, they will come more and more. I remember times like 4 or 5 years before when I went to big companies, let's say like 50,000 employees, and I told the CIO who's responsible for IT, you need a multi-factor authentication. It's too easy for the attacker. And then he said, okay, I wanted to, but our CEO said, now calculate because probably you need to log in 3 times in a day. It takes for an employee like 4 seconds. And then we sum all of this up and it takes us like, I don't know, 100,000 seconds of work per day, per month, whatever. And he decided to not do it. And this was like the mindset we were in. Nowadays, thankfully, they understood if I don't do it, the time and the money I have to spend for recover my whole business is much more because a cyber attack, a successful ransomware attack, it's very soon in 1 million, even for smaller companies.
Yeah, yeah.
1 million above. So if I probably if it's like 5,000 employees and above, we're talking about 10 to 50 million of damage very easily. It depends on your business in the end.
Yeah. And Andreas, do you have any stories you can share without naming names? Like what is the kind of one of the wildest stories you've experienced where you came in and kind of saved the day?
There are a lot of stories, a lot of stories. The problem is all of them I can't speak about it honestly, but I try to do it a little bit anonymously.
Yeah.
Um, we had, for example, one case. It was let's say manufacturer of machines,
Yeah.
and let's say they were doing some special machines for the government of United States. And I remember this case, and they got encrypted completely. And I think yes, they couldn't work anymore, and now we had a big issue with the machines because normally the virus is like encrypting everything in the office environment, like where the people are working. But also we had these machines that had to be shipped to the government of United States. So we had to make sure that these machines, because you don't want to ship these kind of machines over there and you infect like the White House. Not a great idea. So we had to check also on this OT kind of technology step by step and have to make sure. And we built up a certificate that we said, okay, it's checked and there's nothing on it. There was one of the stories. Another story, let's say not so exciting, but to understand, it was one company, and let's say in their production side, they had like 7 production sites worldwide also, and they use like special chemicals to manufacture the goods that they have. And you have
Yeah.
to think about also these chemicals, they were only allowed to be open for a couple of time. If you don't use it in the manufacturing, and they're very, very expensive, and if you don't use it in the manufacturing, you have to throw them away. And this company just lost a couple of millions because they had to throw away these kind of goods and recovered very fast. I think the production plan was working in 3 days, which is very fast because we say normally you need up to 1 week to get your production plant up and running if it's encrypted, for example. And yeah, that was one case where they lost a lot of money, and also where I got in contact with Homeland Security, what was not so nice in the United States, because they were supplying goods also for a very big company in the United States. And then they asked me, for example, hey, Andreas, not like this, more formal way, but they asked, okay, you got attacked, and we want to know all the details about the attack. The problem was this company didn't have a central log management. So all the informations, they were not stored on the central systems, only on the local systems. And the attacker was so smart to delete all of the informations. So it was really hard for us to understand what was going on over there. And then you're on the call and they tell you, okay, you're a supplier for one of the big tech companies in United States, and you want to tell us you don't have any information about what's going on. And they went very mad. And I was in the call and tried to explain them, we are under investigation, my friends. That's about the maturity of the company. Something simple like just save all of your log informations in one place. Don't do something fancy with it, but just have it if you get hacked, so you can see in the past what happened to your company. We had a lot of crazy things, and
Super interesting.
mostly,
Thanks.
yes, yes.
Thanks for sharing a little bit as what you can do, and I think I think this is a good I think connection to also obviously the conference, right, and what the people can expect. Hopefully some more behind the scenes stories and insights. And as you know, right, so we're bringing together these global leaders from different industries from all over the world, right, all exceptionally great performers in their spaces. And if we're talking, for example, about many of the investors coming, I think, as you know, with Counder, everyone is really connected by having great track record of personal success stories in their fields, and also really an
Hmm.
openness to collaborate, connect, and see where's the future going, and where could one invest or form partnerships and just learn and be inspired. And I think when we're looking at cybersecurity, what do you think also when we're looking at the breakouts and deep dive discussions around the topic, what is it really you think people will probably take away from this? Not to obviously lean too much into what we'll discuss at the conference, but where do you think some of the key learnings for people will be about the industry, also as we're looking into the opportunities around it?
So what I have to say is cybersecurity is a very big field, and there are a lot of subtopics into cybersecurity. And I can share a good understanding of the global market and which topics are hot and which topics are rather not, where to invest, and give a little bit of overview about opportunities in cybersecurity on the one hand. And yes, on the other hand, as I said about regulations also internationally, it's a big driver in the market, and give a better understanding how big is the opportunity really, and what do we expect in growth of the market, where will it go to, what are the developments in the end? Because it's a really,
And
really hot market. Everybody wants to invest right now. There are a lot of companies, but yes, we have to understand which areas are the really interesting one, and which kind of businesses in cybersecurity are also ready to scale.
yeah, I think what are these kind of what do you think are? I mean, obviously outside of your story, like on the services and insurance side, right, which is quite clear.
Mhm.
What are other key themes currently in the market that are, I think, instrumental to the growth of the industry?
Yes, so we have a couple of areas. Of course, the incident response and security
Hmm.
operations to detect attacks and react on it. But also like governance, risk and compliance is a big topic right now, because the supply chain it's very important to secure your supply chain, and there are coming more and more regulations on that. If you want to work with other companies, they ask you, do you have an ISO 27K certification, for example? Are you certified? And this kind of business is also scaling right now, and growing a lot, because in the past, the bigger companies, yes, always they were considered about certifications, but like the mid-sized companies, they said, I will implement my measurements, I do it technically. But now they start also to invest into compliance, because they are forced by the law, and that will be also a big opportunity for the future.
Hmm.
And also, of course, AI, even to combine it. AI is a hype in general, but also in cybersecurity, because it brings us a big benefit. We have a lack of experts. They're missing millions of experts all over the world. And a lot of companies, they have the problem, they don't find the people. So we have to use AI. It's not like in other fields where you say with AI I can reduce my costs because I have less employees, for example. Here it's the thing, AI just lets me do the things that I need to do because otherwise I'm not able to hire. They're not there.
Super interesting. And then, as you were saying, right, if I remember that correctly, especially around these new regulations, right, there comes also the need for having certain cybersecurity requirements met as an organization. Is that the correct understanding? And with that, it's like, okay, where do I even start? So that will accelerate the
Of
boom
course.
as well, right? Yeah,
And we have
super.
now a difference, so at least on the European perspective, because we had GDPR a couple of years before.
Yes.
But in GDPR, they say your security has to be state of the art. There were no concrete controls or measurements. Now in NIS2, they say you need to detect and respond, you need to do this and that, multi-factor authentication, you find it inside. And also the other game changer I see is that the CEO now is personally responsible. And if he has no control about cybersecurity, he will pay from his own pocket. This is the difference
Wow.
from before. But before he said, now cybersecurity, IT security is a topic of my CIO who's responsible for IT. You do it. And as soon as this law will be active, he is responsible for it. And he cannot say my infrastructure, head of infrastructure is responsible for it. He has to have someone on the board also who is reporting the state of cybersecurity.
What's the timeline for that? When is it going to be signed into law? Is it clear yet when it's coming?
The directive is already active, and all the European companies should have already implemented this, I think by last year of October.
Okay.
So now
And
in
where are we
Germany,
then
it's not even
in
implemented.
realistic terms? How many? I think it's everyone is just playing catch up. Yeah.
Germany is just still discussing, for
Okay.
example. Belgium already have this in place. We have a couple of countries
Okay.
already who have this in place. I think around 10 countries in the EU. But there's still some who are discussing. Even now, we have to admit in Germany, we had a change of the government also, which slowed down all the processes. But it will be interesting. So we plan in Germany next year, by next year of January. Let's see if this will work. But yes, I can just advise every company right now because the bigger you are, the more time you need to implement these measurements. And to start right now, make your mind about it and build up a plan. Because it takes, perhaps it depends on where you are. First, you make like a gap analysis to understand where are you, where do I need to go. But it can take a couple of months or a year to implement all of these measurements.
No, I can imagine. That's really good advice, Andreas. And I mean, talking about advice, and probably we have to already wrap up this very exciting and insightful conversation. I think one thing about advice is, with coming to the conference, it's also really about shared learning, joint
Hmm.
experience sharing, Chatham House rules, so really that we can create this trusted environment of very exciting dialogue and insights that you normally don't get. Is there something with your expectation now with coming and joining Counder outside the partnership for you personally? What do you hope to
Hmm.
get from this wisdom that we are curating here in Cape Town? What is it something that you want to think dive in more, learn more, understand more? What is that? How does it look like on your side?
Yes, I'm very excited because, as you said, we are completely bootstrapped. And in the last years, of course, because a lot of companies are interested in investing in us, I learned already a lot. But I'm really excited about from the experts you have here, or the top level investors, to learn about this game of M&A, of buying, of all of this, because we are now bootstrapped because I love my freedom, but it doesn't have to be like this because one day I also will be an investor. I don't know. Perhaps one day I change my mind and I see the opportunity to grow very fast with an investor, and I really want to dive more into this kind of things and learn from it. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
once
we've talked.
a consultant, then I was a founder, CEO, and now let's say it's going to the next level, because I have no experiences in this.
Have you looked? I mean, that's the classical. I think it's one of the best combinations. I think in the journey, right? You see a lot of successful investors coming from with the consulting background, with then the founding experience. And then I think as an investor, you have seen it all, right? You've seen the proper corporate drill and executions at the likes of the Big Four, to then, okay, what does it mean to really get your hands dirty as an entrepreneur, so you can really understand, and it's, I think, extremely great for decision making as an investor yourself. Have you, I think, obviously for you as well at Sure Secure, right? Acquisition, I think we talked about it as a potential room for growth also, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm always open, I'm always open for everything, and I'm really happy to meet like great people. I was for 8 years, I was working in a hole, like 16 hours a day. I built a company other people need 20 or 30 years for, or they take fundings, and we just made it in 8 years. And I didn't see anything outside. And now it's the time, since the last 6 to 12 months, I'm starting to build a network globally. I start to meet like-minded people. I start even what I was hoping for, to find people who are even I can look up to and I can learn something. And this is what I'm most excited about, learn new things, because that's why I founded a company, and that's why I changed my status of employment, because I said I need to step out of it. There's more to learn, there's more to see. Yeah, now I'm a CEO for 8 years. I'm a founder. I have two companies. I will build more companies also, and I want to build a network. I'm happy I found you guys. Also, I just came to Cape Town and said, let's meet, let's talk. Now we're here for a podcast. I come to Counder Conference. I'm really happy you're great guys, and I think that's why also the investors like to come to your event, because you're great. Especially you are a great networker, and it's going to be amazing.
Thanks so much, Andreas. We certainly look forward to hosting you in beloved Cape Town between the 27th and 29th of January 2026 for a global dialogue around so many interesting and exciting topics, what we call tomorrow's most important opportunities. Thank you for your time today, for the conversation, the insights. I think it's a little bit of a teaser what we will unpack even further at the conference and also throughout the year with various engagements. Thank you for your trust in us, the kind words, and really, really look forward to seeing you in January as we bring the world to Cape Town.
Yes, let's
Cool.
go for it.